Hello and welcome to the English podcast to learn English. My name is Jack.
And I'm Emma. It's great to be with you all today. We've got a really interesting topic to talk about, something I think everyone, literally everyone, can relate to.
Absolutely. Today we are diving into the world of nostalgia. That warm, fuzzy, sometimes a little sad feeling we get when we think about the past.
Exactly. It's that feeling you get when you hear an old song on the radio or smell something that reminds you of your childhood. It's like a mini time machine in your brain.
A mini time machine. I like that. So let's start there. What about you, Emma? What's the first thing that, instantly transports you back? What's your biggest nostalgia trigger?
Oh, that's easy. For me, it's music, 100%. If I hear a song from, say, the late 90s or early 2000s,
Right.
it's like I'm not even here anymore. I'm instantly back in my childhood bedroom with, posters of pop stars on the wall, listening to my little portable CD player. The feeling is so vivid.
Oh, I totally get that. The portable CD player? Wow, that in itself is a nostalgic thought. I remember trying to jog with one of those. It did not work.
With the anti-skip protection that never actually worked. Yeah.
Exactly. For me, though, I think the strongest one isn't sound. It's smell. It's really specific. The smell of old library books.
Oh, old library books. That's a good one. I can almost smell it now. That dusty, papery, slightly sweet smell.
Yeah, it just takes me right back to being maybe 7 or 8 years old, going to the local library with my mom on a Saturday morning. I can remember the feel of the scratchy carpet and the quiet voice of the librarian. It's crazy how a simple smell can bring back so much detail.
It really is. They say smell is the sense most closely linked to memory. I guess that's proof. What about old photos? Do they do it for you? I was at my parents' house last month and I found a whole box of old family photos. I lost an entire afternoon just looking through them.
Oh, an afternoon? That's dangerous territory. You find one photo and suddenly it's dark outside. But yeah, for sure. Seeing yourself with a terrible haircut as a kid or a piece of clothing you'd completely forgotten you owned.
And you remember the story behind the photo. Like, oh, that was the day we went to the beach and it suddenly started raining.
Yeah, it's funny though, which brings me to another question. Do you think we remember those things accurately or do we just remember the good bits? Is nostalgia a reliable narrator?
Ooh, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I think I think we definitely romanticize the past. We remember the highlights. Our brain creates this little movie montage of all the best moments, and we conveniently edit out all the boring parts. Absolutely. It's like our personal highlight reel. And it's not just personal memories, right? It can be shared cultural things. Like, what about old movies or TV shows?
We definitely wear, what's that phrase? Rose-tinted glasses.
Yes, that's it exactly. Like, I remember summer holidays from school as this endless magical time filled with sunshine and adventures.
Uh-huh.
But if I'm being honest, I'm pretty sure I spent at least half of that time indoors, complaining that I was bored and that there was nothing to do. My brain just chose not to keep those memories.
Totally. Or how people get really nostalgic for a certain decade, like the 80s or 90s, and they remember the cool movies and the great music, but they forget, I don't know, the terrible fashion or the fact that you couldn't use the phone and the internet at the same time.
Oh my gosh, the dial-up internet sound, that screechy noise, that is a whole other kind of nostalgia. Maybe a traumatic kind?
Right? But what's really fascinating is how people who weren't even alive then get nostalgic for it. It's like secondhand nostalgia. They see it in movies and TV shows like Stranger Things, and they build this idealized version of a past they never experienced.
Yeah, that collective nostalgia is so powerful. Fashion is a great example. Everything comes back around. The clothes I thought were so embarrassing when I saw them in my parents' old photos are now cool again. It's confusing.
It's very confusing. It just goes to show that our idea of the past it's a construct. It's a story we tell ourselves.
It's funny how it works, though, the psychology of it. It's such a powerful feeling. It's almost physical, a warmth in your chest. But it's also a bit sad, isn't it? The word itself, nostalgia, comes from Greek, nostos for homecoming and algos for pain or ache.
The pain of wanting to go home to a place you can't return to because it's in the past. Wow. That's deep.
It is. It's bittersweet. You're happy because you're remembering something wonderful, but you're sad because that moment is gone forever.
And it's weird because I was reading that for a long time, doctors thought nostalgia was a disease, like a form of depression or severe homesickness that soldiers would get.
Really? A disease? That's wild. So when you were feeling nostalgic, they'd be like, oh no, you've got a case of the past.
Pretty much. But now the thinking has completely flipped. Modern psychologists see it as a really positive and healthy emotion. They say it can combat loneliness, make us feel more connected to others, and even make us more optimistic about the future.
That makes total sense. When you share a nostalgic memory with someone who was there, it strengthens your bond. Like, hey, remember that time? It's a way of saying we have a shared history.
Yeah, it's a social glue, and it's a good reminder that our lives have had meaning and good moments, which can be pretty useful on a difficult day.
Definitely. Well, speaking of useful things, this is an English learning podcast, so maybe we should break down some of the useful phrases and idioms we've used today.
Great idea. I think the first one we used was my favorite, rose-tinted glasses. Can you explain that one for our listeners, Emma?
Of course. So, to see something through rose tinted glasses means that you're only seeing the good parts of a memory or a situation. You're remembering it as being much better than it actually was. The rose tint makes everything look prettier.
A perfect explanation. Okay, another one we mentioned was to take a trip down memory lane.
Right. This is basically what we've been doing for this whole episode. It just means to spend some time thinking about and reminiscing about the past. When you look through an old photo album, you are taking a trip down memory lane.
Excellent. And maybe one more. How about it rings a bell? If a song or a name rings a bell, what does that mean?
Ah, a good one. It means it sounds familiar, like you've probably heard it before, but you can't quite remember all the details. For example, if someone says a name, I might say, that rings a bell, but I can't picture their face.
Perfect. So, to all our listeners, your homework is to try and use one of those phrases this week.
Wow, this has flown by. This trip down memory lane has been a lot of fun, Jack.
It really has. So, I guess the takeaway here is that nostalgia is this powerful, complex, bittersweet emotion. It connects us to our past and helps us understand who we are today.
Yeah, it's a reminder of the good times, even if our memories are wearing those rose tinted glasses and conveniently forgetting the boring rainy afternoons.
Exactly. So, now we want to turn the question over to you, our listeners. What makes you feel nostalgic? Is it a song, a taste, a smell?
Yes, we would love to hear from you. You can find us on all the usual social media platforms. Just search for English Podcast to Learn English. Leave a comment on the post for this episode and let us know.
And please don't forget to follow or subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you're using. It really helps us out and it means you won't miss our next episode.
That's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for listening, everyone.
Bye for now.